y'all? It's your boy, the MMA Mechanic, and today we're doing a full prediction video for the Fight Night event in Shanghai. Johnny Walker versus Zhang Ming Yang. That's happening this weekend. So we're going to start with the prelims. We're going to go all the way through the main event. We're going to start right away. We're going to jump into the first fight of the night. Uran Satybaldiev versus Diyar Nurgozhay. I'm going to go with Uran by KO in this victory. Uran is 6'4". He has 79-inch reach. He has a 5-inch reach advantage. In his debut, he fought Martin Buday at heavyweight. Uran Satybaldiev is clearly a light heavy. He fought Martin Buday at 225 pounds. Martin Buday was like 260 pounds. So Martin Buday had like 40 pounds on him. I think he just accepted the fight just to kind of get into the UFC, or I don't know, why he accepted the fight. Maybe it was like a last minute thing where he couldn't make weight. But basically there was a major weight disadvantage. He still looked good. He hit Martin Buday, rocked him a couple times, had Martin Buday on the back foot a few times in that fight. He was even able to take Martin Buday down in that fight. So he looked good. He had moments in that fight. He's just better of the two. If you look at Diyar Nurgozhay, Diyar just very low output. Very low output. He keeps his hands low. He slows down in fights, right? So that's not a good combination, right? Just think about that for a second. Your hands are low. You slow down. So now it's harder to hit you. Satybaldiev has some power. As I said before, he was able to rock Martin Buday. And Martin Buday, guys, is very good. I think Martin Buday won like 7 out of his 8 fights in the UFC. He's very good, right? And so for Uran Satybaldiev to push Martin Buday the way he did is very impressive. And Diyar, he lost to Brenton Ribeiro by Kimura. I know that Uran Satybaldiev on the regional scene, he beat a guy with a Kimura. So Uran Satybaldiev has submission ability as well. Diyar he has this tick thing that he does with his eye. And when I was rewatching his fight with Ribeiro, I noticed it. So he does this like every second beat. 1, 2, here. 1, 2, here. 1, 2, here. So he does this like this thing with his eye. I don't know what it is. But he does it all throughout the fight. And so, Brenton Ribeiro drops him badly because in the beginning of the fight, he was very light on his feet. He relies on lateral movement to get out of the way of punches. He slowed down like midway through the first round, got dropped badly, and Ribeiro follows up by finishing him with a Kimura. So he slows down. And gets dropped. I think the same thing will happen in this fight. I think Uran's gonna time one of those swipes to his eye that he likes to do, and I think that Uran's gonna put him down and put him away early. I'm gonna say KO. I'm not gonna say round. I think it's gonna be first round. You know what? First round KO. Uran Satybaldiev, first round KO. Yeah, keeps his hands low. His chin is here. Slows down. I don't see how this ends well for him. I'm going Uran Satybaldiev by first round KO. Second fight of the night, Xiao versus Suyoung. Xiao pushes forward, throws a lot of output. Versus Kwang Lee. I think he threw like 60 significant strikes the first round, and just significant strikes, and was just pressing Kwang Lee. He does leave himself open to get hit a lot. Kwang Lee was countering the heck out of him, bloodied up his face throughout the fight. The issue is that Suyoung he's not going to do that. Suyoung is going to take him down. He's going to chain wrestle. He's going to go for double leg after double leg after double leg until he gets it. That's what Suyoung is going to do. It's important to note that Xiao does have 12 submission victories, none in the UFC. Here's the thing, though. 12 submission victories, he has experience, right? So he knows what he's doing on the ground. Could Suyoung throw his head into some sort of submission? Maybe. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that Suyoung is going to utilize the grappling. He's going to control the positioning. He's going to control Xiao on the ground, and he's going to be able to win this fight by a pretty easy decision. I did want to make another point, though, because it's interesting. You know, I remember the Suyoung when he fought AJ Cunningham, and AJ Cunningham was tagging him. He was getting AJ Cunningham down, but AJ Cunningham was touching him up, you know? And Troy Long has some fast hands, man. He's very fast. That dude is fast. So, you know, is he going to be able to maybe stuff a takedown or two and keep the fight on the feet long enough to land a shot? You know, he did beat Kwang Lee by knockout in the third round. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it should be an interesting fight, but I am going to go Suyoung Yu by decision. On to the next, we got Westin Wilson versus Yizha. Westin Wilson cannot take a punch no matter what. Every fight that he's had so far in the UFC, he's gotten finished or almost finished. His first fight, he fought Joe Anderson Brito or Gene Silva. I can't remember which one. Dropped him, finished him. Second fight, Joe Anderson Brito or Gene Silva. I can't remember what the order of that how he fought them, but both men finished him. Touched his chin, put him away. Can't take a punch. Then he comes back and he fights Jeka Sergei, and Jeka Sergei I thought was going to finish him as well. Dropped him, had him scrambling, reaching for limbs. Didn't know what to do. Lost. Had no idea what he was doing. Somehow latches onto a limb. And he's like, yes! You could see this. Like you could literally see the relief on this man's face when he grabbed Jeka's one of his limbs. Was able to grab his arm. Jeka has no idea what to do to defend it, so he gets him into an arm bar and finishes him with an arm bar. But the point is, he got dropped and hurt badly. Okay. Yizha is powerful, but Yizha, he has very low output. He's accurate though, so I think something's gonna land, and Westin Wilson is gonna freak out and reach up for limbs, and you know he's just gonna get finished. I do think that Yizha is gonna catch him with something, time something. You know, Westin Wilson has the ability to grapple, but his takedowns aren't great. I think Yizha is gonna stuff those. I think Yizha's going to time an entry, or he's going to time something, and he's going to drop Westin Wilson pretty badly and hurt him, and I think he's going to finish him by TKO. On to the next fight, we do have Michel Pereira versus Kyle Daukaus. This depends on if Michel Pereira decided to go on a few jogs during his training camp. Maybe you get on a bicycle on his training camp. Maybe, I don't know, work your cardio during his training camp. You know what I'd be interested in seeing? We saw Hamzat go work on his cardio with TJ Dillshaw's camp. I wonder if Michel Pereira did that. If there could be some improvement, because Michel Pereira has potential, man. There was a time where before he fought Anthony Hernandez, people were like, "Oh, Michel Pereira is gonna go on a run. He's dangerous. He's what I'm saying, like people were saying these things." He has a lot of potential. He does have a lot of potential. He's dangerous. He has knockout power. He has the ability to put you away. It's just like, bro, you got to be able to last more than 30 seconds, bro. He fought Abus Magomedov. Oh my God, these names. Abus Magomedov, right? And it was like the battle of the gas tanks. My thing in that fight was like, who's gonna gas first? They both gassed, but Michel Pereira, of course, gassed harder than Abus Magomedov. It's terrible. I don't know what. Like I know, I've heard some rumors of him going through some things in his personal life. So maybe that's something that's impacting him mentally. But man, I think he's in his early 30s. I want to say still, or maybe like maybe mid 30s, early to mid 30s. So still in his prime. Still has a ton of very fast twitch, very explosive, very powerful. Has a lot of submissions by first round submissions as well. He's gonna finish Kyle Daukaus. He's gonna finish Kyle Daukaus. It's just if Kyle Daukaus can survive 2 minutes, that's what I mean. It's like the guy can't last more than like 2 minutes in a fight. It's pretty crazy to watch Michel Pereira, a guy that's so full of potential that just isn't able to last more than 2 minutes in a fight. So I'm still gonna go with Michel Pereira by first round KO. But if that fight goes out anywhere outside the halfway through the first round, if it goes anywhere past that, it's live. It's live at that point because Michel Pereira has zero cardio. On to the next, we got Rongzhu versus Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard's a terrible fighter. I hate to say that about professional fighters because they could probably beat me up. Come see me at the gym though. You know what I'm saying? We getting some hard sparring sessions in today. Come see me at the gym. No, I'm just playing. But Austin Hubbard is pretty terrible to be honest. He's 1-4 in his last 5. He's just not really good anywhere. I mean, he has decent wrestling, right? He beat Alex Hernandez, I think it was, in like a robbery. So he really should be 0-5 in his last 5. But he's just not good anywhere. He's not good on the feet. He's not good on the ground. Like he's not overwhelmingly. He's decent on the ground. I mean, you know, he's just not very good anywhere. I don't even know what to say about him, to be honest. He's just decent at wrestling, and that's about it. Rongzhu. Rongzhu, I feel like every time I watch him, I keep waiting for like a devastating knockout for someone to go down. When he was fighting Cody Steele, he was landing some overhand bombs, uppercuts, hooks, and I'm like, oh, he's about to go down. Holy, whoo! And every single time, it would like people were looking at me like, bro, you like nothing happened. The guy wouldn't go down. Cody Steele just kind of like kept coming forward. I mean, he was hitting him with bombs, and Cody Steele didn't even flinch. Like bombs, like things that you would think like would decapitate a person, and Cody Steele just wouldn't even flinch. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna pick Rongzhu by decision because I just don't think Austin Hubbard's a good fighter. But it's just interesting that you can hit somebody with everything in your body, all your muscle fibers, all your might, and not even warrant a reaction. I don't even know if Cody Steele bled in that fight. And like if you go back and watch that fight, they were throwing heat, man. Heat. You could hear some of those punches landing, and Cody Steele just wouldn't fall. So Rongzhu, he throws hard, he pushes forward, he pushes the envelope, but yeah, he's just gonna win a decision here, and maybe it'll look like a war, but really, I don't know. It's interesting. Both of these fighters are very very interesting fighters, but I can't pick Austin Hubbard to win a fight ever. He shouldn't have beat Alex Hernandez. He shouldn't have beat him. On to the next, we got Charles Johnson versus Loner Kavanagh. Now, this fight is very, very interesting. It's not because, it's going to be a banger. There's one more fight that I think is going to be heat on this cartoon. We'll get to that fight later. But this fight's going to be a banger, man. Like, straight heat. Here's my thing, though. Why give Loner Charles Johnson now? Right? Antoine Ho, he beats on the Contender Series. He beats Jose Cho and Felipe Dos Anjos. It wasn't like he finished those guys. You know what I mean? Like he beat them, right? He beat them, but it wasn't like he finished them or had like some devastating knockout. Unless I'm remembering wrong, I don't think he finished them. You know what I mean? So it's like. The reason why I'm saying this is because Loner, I'm very high on Loner. I think Loner can go, he's young. He can go very, very far. Why give him a guy that can derail that? I'm not saying, because I'm still going to pick Loner to win this fight by decision, but the entire fight I'm going to be worried. Like, okay, Charles Johnson could get this win easily. We saw him do it versus Joshua Van. And Joshua Van is now fighting for a title. Joshua Van just like, since the Charles Johnson fight a year and a half ago, he's fought like 6 times. So it's crazy. It's like really crazy how the activity with Joshua Van. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just an interesting one. I mean, unless unless Loner is like on the same path where he's gonna fight every other card like a Joshua Van did, I don't understand this. Because this is a fight that like maybe. Had Joshua Van not been in the right headspace and he, I have to go back and I have to take time off to work on this, that, and the third, maybe he doesn't come back. Maybe he doesn't come back, a month and a half later. We don't know what type of headspace Loner is, and this could derail him. I am gonna pick Loner. His boxing is very good, and he mixes things up, changes levels, leg kicks, body kicks, head strikes, combinations to the body, nasty low kicks. right? He sets things up, so he's not going to just throw empty shots. He's not just going to throw overhands and hooks, and he's setting everything up. Combinations into like it. Combinations into a takedown. He has the ability to take you down. Now, that's important because we saw Charles Johnson get taken down by Ramazan Tamirov. Now, in that fight, though, Ramazan did pop for PEDs. So I think, Charles Johnson's either working on trying to get that one to a no contest or something like that. But either way, my point being is, Colonel Kavanagh, I believe, is going to try and, he's going to have to mix in the takedowns to win this fight. I don't think he's going to. Charles Johnson is extremely fast and extremely experienced in the UFC. He has a lot of fights in the UFC. Okay? I think Loner Kavanagh is going to have to dog. This is going to be a banger. He's going to have to push himself to limits to win this fight. I think Charles Johnson will push him. He's going to have to mix it up top, change levels, like I said, to the body. He's going to have to work the body, work the legs, slow Charles Johnson down because Charles Johnson's very in and out, very fast in and out. That's what he did to Joshua Van. He's blitzing in and out and just with throw combinations time Joshua Van perfectly. So I think if Loner, what he's going to have to do is maybe chop at Charles Johnson's legs. He has some very good leg kicks. Mix it up to shots to the body up top into a takedown. Make sure every takedown is hidden by a combination. We're going to find out. We are definitely going to find out what his striking defense looks like. He did well versus Jose Ochoa. He did well versus Felipe Dos Anjos. And I think he actually took Felipe down to the ground. Right? I think he actually did take Felipe down to the ground. But we are going to find out for sure because I think Charles Johnson has better hands than Felipe. So we're gonna find out whether better kicks. Charles Johnson will throw some teeps, man, hard teeps. So we're gonna find out, whether Loner can take a punch. This is gonna be a war, man. I'm gonna pick Loner by decision, but I just, I honestly don't know. Maybe another fight and then Charles. Charles is sitting at number 15. I think that Loner wins this. That they could segue him into the 15 spot. Man, can you imagine the future? Loner Kavanagh versus Joshua Van. Whoo, heat. Straight heat. So that's probably what they're trying to do. I just think maybe give him one more before we give him Charles. Someone that can actually test them, like a Charles is going to. Charles is that's a big jump in competition, in my opinion. A big jump. You know what I mean? So I'm just surprised that they gave him Charles, who can derail the train right now. So, but either way, I still think he'll win, and but he just has to have a good game plan, man, because Charles Johnson is no joke, man. He's no joke. You know what I mean? So hopefully I'm right. I'm gonna pick Loner Kavanagh bar decision, baby. On to the next. We got Maheshate versus Gage Young. Now Gage Young, he's the favorite in this fight, and it's very surprising to me. Gage Young has zero punching power. He has okay wrestling, from what I've seen. He was shook versus Evan Elder, man. He was very timid. He was afraid of the power. Evan Elder was bigger than him. He's small for the division, Gage Young. Small for the division. Maheshate is a big guy for the division. And so we saw Evan Elder. This is a perfect example. Evan Elder was bigger than him. Evan Elder kind of just like bullied him in a way. Like Gage Young was like almost afraid to throw a punch, like to sit on his punches. He didn't want to sit on his punches and really like drive through on a punch to like get some respect from Evan Elder. It was like in basketball where you do the hezzy, like you fake like you're gonna shoot, and then you know what I mean. Terrible analogy, but my point being is he wasn't throwing with any like authority. He wasn't gaining any respect from him. Evan Elder had no respect for him at all. I don't even think he got Evan Elder down in that fight. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't understand how he's a favorite versus Maheshate. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, listen, I'm gonna say this. Maheshate is his opponent. We saw Maheshate fight Steve Garcia. Now this was some time ago. He dropped Steve Garcia in the first round and put him out. Put him out. Put him out badly, man. Now with Maheshate, that's probably his best win, and that one's aged so well for Maheshate because Steve Young's doing his thing right now. I think Steve Young's gonna be top 10, man, certified. Top 10, top 7 maybe. So that win's gonna continue to age well for him. Maheshate doesn't have a really good chin though. But the thing is, we saw Borjas knock him out. We saw Nicholas Mota drop him over and over and over and over. The thing is, Gage Young is not about to drop this dude. He has no power, bro. We've seen Maheshate hurt people before. Gage Young is gonna get hit one good time and fold and curl up in a ball, like he did versus Evan Elder. That was literally his last fight. He's small for the division. He has no punching power. His wrestling is okay. You know what I mean? I don't see why he's a favorite. So that one was interesting to me. I just wanted to kind of touch base on that real quick. I do have Maheshate. I'm gonna give Maheshate the upset win by decision. We haven't seen Maheshate knock anybody out in a very long time, so Gage is tough. So I'll give him that. So I don't think he can knock him out. So I'll give him a win by decision, Maheshate. I think he's gonna hurt him a few times each round, stun him a few times, and win on damage. On to the next Taiyilake Nueraji versus Kiefer Crosbie. Listen, the Taiyilake is like a minus 350. He should really be a minus 700. Kiefer Crosbie is not, in my opinion, I haven't seen where he's anywhere UFC level. Now they've given him some decent guys, Sam Patterson and Kevin Doucette in his first two fights, rangy guys. Taiyilake is also a rangy guy. Taiyilake is very dangerous. He knocked out Hansol Kim with a step-in elbow. Right? Taiyilake is very, very creative. I mean, he's doing spinning kicks, spinning all these spinning attacks, which we'll talk about in a second. What I think about him, because he's coming off that Contender Series when he brutally knocked out Hansol Kim. But we'll talk about that fight in a second. But yeah, with this fight, Kiefer Crosbie he lost by both fights in the first round to Kiefer Crosbie and Kevin Doucette. I'm sorry, to Sam Patterson and Kevin Doucette. I don't see how this is any different. Taiyilake is aggressive. He pushes forward. He attacks. He throws hard shots. He's a long, rangy pause. He's gonna be looking for Kiefer Crosbie's head, man. He's looking for dude's head, bro. And so, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're feeding him to the. They're feeding him to the wolves in this one. They're feeding him to the wolves. I don't think that Kiefer Crosbie's gonna land a punch in this fight. Now, I will say this about Taiyilake versus Hansol Kim. Hansol Kim is also a rangy, tall guy. Hansol Kim was landing some bombs. I didn't know who was gonna get knocked out in that fight. I mean, before Taiyilake knocked him out with that step and elbow, it was a war. Both guys were throwing heat, landing heat. I mean, it was pretty fun fight to watch. My beard keeps itching and my mustache. Let me just go ahead and do this. Get it out the way, guys. Just gonna get it out the way. He does a lot of wild, for no reason spinning attacks. He's jumping off fences. He's doing all these wild things. He gets hit a lot, is my point though. So moving forward, I don't know, man. About it. He's a prospect for sure. He's good. But is he gonna lean on? He's gonna be doing these wild attacks. He's gonna not be protecting his face, marching forward, think he could just run through everybody, or is he gonna be defensively responsible and actually fight the proper way with respect for your opponent? Because he literally had no respect for Hansol Kim, even though Hansol Kim was hitting him with some bombs, man. Some crazy shots, uppercuts, hooks, left. I mean, it was wild. He had no respect for him whatsoever. I don't even think he tried to block a punch. He was just marching forward, throwing. I mean, he was very, very creative. I mean, he was walking and throwing some slicing elbows like this. He was like he was coming in, stepping into ring, like that. I was like, man, this guy's really creative. But seriously though, I don't know if he sliced him with one of them. but he was like slicing himself down, like slicing down, and not like a step in, but like a slice down, like that, and like was catching him with it. I was like, holy crap, long rangy guy, man. Got a lot of potential, but I just hope he becomes defensively responsible. Because if he fights somebody with some heat and they knock him out, then I mean, you know. So hopefully he doesn't get derailed. He looks exciting. Looks exciting, Chinese cat. Sumudaerji versus Kevin Borjas. Now, Sumudaerji's a rangy guy. Likes to keep guys at the end of his punches. Doesn't get hit too much, or at least clean. He sits well behind that jab. He does lean on his front leg, so I mean, I'm surprised more guys aren't trying to like brutalize his leg with leg kicks. I mean, if I was Kevin Borjas, that's what I would be. That's what I'd be going for. You know, he does have some power. I mean, he hasn't had a KO in like 3 years, but you know, versus Mitch Raposo, there was a lot of damage getting done there with that jab. A lot of damage getting done with that jab versus Mitch Raposo. Kevin Borjas doesn't protect himself at all, and every fight that Kevin Borjas has, he's getting rocked all over the place. Very fast. He has a nice 1-2 down the middle. You know, he's you know, he has offensive ability, but he just doesn't. He leans forward when one of the things I did notice when he was fighting Alessandro Costa. He was like leaning in when Alessandro was throwing punches. He was leaning forward and just like cover up like this. It's like, dude, uppercuts, body shots. Sumudaerji is gonna keep him at the end of some of those jabs, those long rangy jabs, and I think he's gonna hurt him. You know, I don't think he's gonna finish him. Kevin Borjas is so durable. Alessandro Costa did finish him though. He KO'd him because he's defensively irresponsible. Especially when he's throwing strikes or when he's like in the pocket. He hangs out in the pocket way too much, man, for someone that doesn't protect his chin. But yeah, I could see Sumudaerji keep him at the end of his strikes for 3 rounds and getting a decision victory here. Yeah. I just can't trust Kevin Borjas, man. He just doesn't defend himself at all. You know? He does throw heat, though, man. That 1-2 is pretty serious. But I'm going to go with Sumudaerji by decision. On to the next. We got Sergei Pavloovich versus Waldo Cortes Acosta. So, Sergei, 3 years ago, all day. But I've noticed some things in some of his fights since he's been losing a little bit. You know, he has a 6-inch reach advantage. We know that he's a pressure fighter. We know how good his boxing is. We know how fast his hands are. We know that almost every one of his wins are first round KOs. You know, if he pushes forward and he imposes his will and he's aggressive and Waldo Cortes Acosta bends to his will, then I do think he'll win this fight by KO first round. But one of the things that you notice about Sergei is when he doesn't get that finish early. Like if Waldo survives the first 7 minutes of this fight, he's going to be in trouble because his psychological well-being falls off a cliff after 7 minutes. First 7 minutes, you saw him versus versus Volkov. Now I know Volkov is high level, but during that fight, Pavloovich was just like, you saw his mental decline as soon as he realized like, oh shit, I'm in an actual fight that I'm losing right now. I know he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall, so maybe he was in his head. But yeah, you could see him folding when he realized, oh, okay, I might not win this fight. Like, you know, 7 minutes into the fight, if Waldo Cortes Acosta can survive that, I can see Waldo winning this fight. Because Waldo is very athletic, sharp boxer, very efficient on his strikes. He lands 6 significant strikes per minute. I think Sergei's up around there as well, or maybe a little lower. But they both throw a lot. But Waldo's very, very efficient. And so Waldo, I think the game plan should be just make sure you work the jab. Don't fight this guy in the phone booth. Don't try and get too fancy. Don't try and get outside your element. Use your jab. Movement. Sergei doesn't like to move around and chase you around like that. He doesn't do well with that. Volkov was very quick on his feet. Volkov wasn't there to be hit. Volkov would circle off on end retreats, come in on angles, and I think that's what Waldo Cortes Acosta is gonna do. He's gonna come in on angles. He's gonna retreat on angles. He's gonna hit him with that jab. He's gonna keep him at the end of his jab. He's gonna work behind the jab. Come over with some overhand rights when overhand rights or lefts when they present themselves. Yeah, Sergey just, after I saw that mental decline versus Volkov, and you see it, man. If you go back and watch that fight, you see him start to melt. And he's just like, oh. And that's why at the end of that fight, he pushed Volkov because he was so annoyed and upset and frustrated and mentally just collapsed. He couldn't take it. He couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna actually go ahead and say Waldo Cortes Acosta, the dog. He's underdog. I think he's gonna win this one. This is a I could be way wrong on this pick though. I could be 100% way wrong on this pick, but I think I'm gonna go with Waldo because again, like I said, I think Waldo, Waldo's on a 5-fight win streak, man. Spivak, Span, Despain. We saw him beat Arlovsky, Bresky, and we know that versus Despain. Despain was the guy that was Aspinall before Aspinall was Aspinall, right? I don't think Aspinall had the belt at that time, and Despain was supposed to come in and starch everybody and knock everybody out in the first round and knock out everybody out in the first couple of minutes, right? Like Aspinall is doing right now. Despain was Aspinall before Aspinall was Aspinall. And now Despain is over in some other promotion, right? So, yeah, Waldo's good. Waldo's good. He's athletic, man. He played baseball, okay? Played baseball. So on to the next one. We got Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. Earlier I said that there's another fight that was heat on this card. To me, I love high-level grappling matches. Like Aljamain Sterling versus Amavzar, loved it. Gamrot versus Arman, loved it. You know what I mean? Gamrot versus Fiziev, because Fiziev was the defensive wrestling. I loved it. I love high level grapplers that go in there and you know what I'm saying, or the transitions, the reversals, the sweeps, the you know what I'm saying, the positioning, understanding of positioning, the little subtle movements that you have to make to get to a certain position. You know what I mean? Where their strengths are. Brian Ortega's better off his back. Aljamain Sterling's better on your back. Where I think the difference is in this fight, I think Aljo's a little bit stronger than Brian Ortega. I think Brian Ortega's been beaten the fuck out of so many times. Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez before he submitted Yair, Volk, Diego Lopez. I mean, this guy is getting his ass whipped over and over. I'm glad they finally give him a guy who's not going to punch his face in. Aljamain Sterling's, this is going to be one of the better fights on the card, in my opinion. It's going to be a high-level grappling match. I'm going to love watching it. These guys both are going to go for submission finishes. I think it's going to be a stalemate, though. I don't think anyone's going to get submitted. I just think that Aljo's going to be too strong in certain positions, and he's going to kind of be able to beat Brian Ortega that way. Now, Brian Ortega can surprise me. He's done it before. Brian Ortega has done it before. You know, when he came back versus Yair, I did not see that coming. When he survived versus Volk, when he survived versus, like, I mean, he's a very durable guy. You know, so he can come out and surprise us now. I think it'll be a high level grappling match. I think the transition to scrambles, I think everything will be very fun to watch. This is going to be, you're seeing two very high level jiu-jitsu artists. I mean, look what Aljo did to Corey. The fact that he was able to hold, now Yan, I understand everybody sees Yan losing to Merab and they think he can't grapple. Bruh, Yan is one of the best wrestlers in the division. And Aljo had him on his back. Or Aljo was on his back, and Yang couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't do anything. Aljo's very, very good, man. He strangled Corey. Corey's very good off the ground. Very defensively responsible on the ground. We saw Umar have struggled to hold Corey down. You feel what I'm saying? So this is gonna be a high level match. I'm gonna pick Brian because or sorry Aljo because I just think he's a little stronger physically than Brian Ortega is. On to the next, we got Johnny Walker versus Zhang Ming Yang. Um, Now Zhang Ming Yang, I like Zhang Ming Yang. I mean, he has a lot of knockouts. Brenton Ribeiro, Anthony Smith, Ozzy Diaz. I mean, he has a lot of first round knockouts. Very powerful guy. The thing about it is, a lot of people are saying he's going to be champion. I don't think so. He gets hit a lot. We saw Brenton Ribeiro hitting him with a lot of shots. I mean, is he going to eat one of those from Bogdan? Is he going to be able to eat one of those from Alex Pereira? Dominic Reyes? Mog? He's going to be able to eat those type of punches from those guys? I don't think so, man. Those are higher. I mean, like, first of all, he hasn't fought anybody yet. I mean, Anthony Smith is not competition. Brenton Ribeiro is not competition, right? Excuse me. Johnny Walker is also not competition. Johnny Walker, very explosive. We saw Johnny Walker land that flying knee versus Misha Sirkunev like 5 years ago, and I've been waiting for another one. I mean, he has some wins, but I mean, his chin is gone. Johnny Walker's chin is gone. I want to see Johnny Walker go to heavyweight. I know his brother's there, and he doesn't want to fight his brother or whatever. Go to heavyweight, man, and give it a run. I think Johnny Walker would do really well. He's gigantic. He's a huge guy. Pause. He's a very big guy. I'm not picking my nose. I just got my mustache. Okay, my beard. I swear. Yeah, Johnny Walker's a big guy, man. You know, he can go to heavyweight and cause a lot of people problems. You know? This is an easy one though. Zhang Ming Yang by first round KO. This is a very easy one. He's just gonna walk him down. Now, could Johnny Walker do some flying knee, some sort of spinning back elbow, some sort of something wild? I think Johnny Walker should remain as wild as possible in this fight. He should do the wildest shit that comes to his mind. Do not try to be contained or composed or fight. No, be erratic and wild and out of control. And hope something lands. I think that's his way to win. That's the best way he would win. I don't think he wins any other way. I think if he tries to fight any way responsible in any way, shape, or form, I think that Zhang Ming is going to walk him down and he's going to crack. Because Zhang Ming, he gets into these firefights. We saw versus Brenton Ribeiro. He goes and he just throws, and then once the shot's going to land, right on the kisser. Boom, you're out cold. Out cold. All it takes is one for Zhang Ming Yang. So, yeah, I think we'll have a lot of finishes on this card. You know? I think we have a lot of finishes on this card. There are some fights that I'm excited for. Like I said, the Brian Ortega versus Aljo. I'm very excited for that fight. You know, Charles Johnson versus Loner. Very excited for that one because that one's really that's probably the most interesting as far as what happens next. I would say. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the most interesting as far as I mean, maybe Zhang Ming Yang because who would they give him next? You know, he'd be ranked after this win, so then that'd be interesting too. But I think the Loner versus Charles because I want to see whether Loner is able to pass that test. That's gonna tell us a lot. That's gonna tell us a lot if Loner is able to and handedly if he handles Charles Johnson, that's gonna tell us a lot. That's all I got, guys. It's your boy, the MMA Mechanic. Until next time. Oh yeah, like, comment, share, bell icon, all the above.